What's going on, guys? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Palm Beach County, Florida, and we just got home and went ahead and sorted through all the stuff from this job today. There is a lot of good stuff. I have papers here of tools that I just posted on Facebook. Collectively, it's about $800 worth of tools, and that's just like used Facebook prices. What they're worth is a lot more, but I try to get things out pretty quickly and try to be fair about it because they're used, But overall, today's job was super good. The clients were very, very nice. They put in a great word for me at the front desk of the storage unit. They left me a great review. They told me that they would refer me out to other people and that they would keep me in the future for any kind of moving and or junk removal needs. So overall, very good day, very good job. This client found me through my sign that I actually posted out by the storage unit last year in January. So it's been a whole year that she's had my picture in her phone before she contacted me. So glad I put it out a year ago. I went ahead and put out a couple more nearby because it is a storage unit that it borders a part of the city that has like hidden wealth. So like you have your cities where like they have money and like they like to show you that they have money, and then you have parts of the cities where they have wealth and they don't want you to know about it. So that's a good place to be. I'll probably put signs out there within the next week or two, just a little bit to kind of brand it a little bit out there. But overall, the job was very good. It was 3/8 of a load. It consisted of tools, power tools, a little bit of tile, a couple of carpets, some golf clubs, some miscellaneous items, and some boxes that had electrical wiring and outlets in it. I actually just sold my neighbor the box of outlets for 20 bucks. I have a bunch of wiring here that I'm going to be scrapping. You can see behind me I have scrap. I'm trying to do that this year. Overall, job was pretty smooth. They even helped me bring down some stuff, so it saved me a little bit of time. Yesterday, we did a job that was for the guy who drove by on his bike when I was doing a different job for a repeat client. And he said, hey, I got a couple units out back if you can give me a quote on them sometime. I said, sure, how about tomorrow morning? Went ahead, did that. A month later, he called me up and I went out the next day. It ended up being a 2-truck load, mainly just all furniture. It was on the 3rd floor with an elevator. Only one thing had to come downstairs, and it was a couch. But overall, pretty smooth job. He paid in cash, gave us $100 tip each, and the lady today gave me a $100 tip. So overall, pretty good. I got a couple of things off that job to scrap, like this brass headboard behind me and some like little loose fittings. Otherwise, I had to dump everything because the donation centers all around me are pretty backed up right now. So unfortunate, but it wasn't a very heavy load. It was 2 truckloads, and altogether it costed me $41.14. As far as January, it's been going pretty well so far. I have a couple of things lined up for the week. Tomorrow should be a pretty good day, and I have some stuff booked for next week. I've done a few estimates in the last couple of days, and networking wise, I've contacted an organizer that I've had contact in the past with, and that was back in like February, so I went ahead and followed up with her, and it was good timing because she's on a really big job right now that she's going to be at on Thursday. So I'll see if I can try to squeeze something in with her. It would be good to have multiple organizers on my team. I have the main one that like, she's like my first priority, but it would be nice to have multiple that can use me on a consistent basis. So for networking purposes, that was a good kind of follow-up. Otherwise, I have an ad running on Facebook for New Year's. I've been posting on social medias. I just revamped my keywords on my website. So overall, it seems like things are going pretty smoothly. I have some networking events coming up later this month that I plan on attending to try to connect with more professionals. And that's about it for now. I've been kind of busy, so I haven't been pushing strongly for marketing. The thing I wanted to talk about in this video, though, was yesterday I was almost involved in a 3-car accident. I had a car that was whipping behind me on the right side. I was in the middle lane, and I don't know what they did, but they hit the curb and flew out in front of me and smashed into a tree in the median while hitting a car on my left side coming up, and he crashed on the other side of the road on the other side of the median, and I was able to like brake and steer myself kind of in between the two as they diverted around me. and wasn't struck at all, had no damage whatsoever. But that could have been a really big issue if I had any damage, because then at that point it's gonna come down to Florida's fault. I do have my dash cam though, so it did show her coming up on my side, and then all of a sudden and it kind of showed the crash in the front. And I never like crossed over the line. It wasn't like I was cutting them off or merging lanes or anything. So I don't know what happened. But I called the cop just to do a follow-up. I was like, hey, I just want to make sure I'm in the clear as a business. And he said, no, you're good. You're not even on the report. No one should be contacting you. So that was good. But that led me to two things I just wanted to mention. They seem like common sense, but I know a lot of people don't do it. And I think it's become like this thing where if you're like in a fender bender in a parking lot and there's no real damage done, a lot of people are like, well, it's not worth it to call the insurance. Let's just call it quits and just walk away. And most people are like, okay, sure. That's fine to do. It's your choice to go through insurance. But you should always get a police report done at least. So the good thing about having a police report done, whether you're in a personal vehicle or a commercial, is say you go to leave and the other person stays there, they could call the cops and say, hey, I was just struck by a so-and-so vehicle and they just drove off. And at that point, it's your word versus theirs as to whether or not you actually did that. So it's better to call the police, have them come out, check out the scene just to get details down, get information down, and then they can mark off, neither party wants to go through insurance. And that's it. You just have a copy of a police report. But at least that way it's documented legally that both parties agreed on what happened. There was no significant damage done, no injury, and both parties agreed to not involve insurance and are going their separate ways. Because you never know what people are going to try to lie to you about afterwards and then try to make up, whatever they want to get money out of you. And that's a big deal for commercial vehicles. Most people go after that. The other thing is to get a dash cam. I've mentioned it before in one of my shorts, but dash cams are like $30-40. They can be your proof in an accident to show that you're not at fault, or to show what happened in front of you or on your sides or behind you, so you can better protect yourself in the event of an accident. Not to mention insurance fraud. It's a huge thing throughout the country, in the world even. It happens a lot in Russia for some reason, in South America. But say you're stopped at a stop sign and some guy's coming by on your bike and you're waiting for him, but he decides to hit the front end of your truck. He could call the cops and say, you hit him, you passed a stop bar or whatever. And that's kind of hard to prove without proof. So that could be a potential lawsuit that you're going to have to fight. You're going to have to hire attorneys to fight, which is going to cost you money and or time and frustration. But if you had a dash cam that shows that you're stopped before the crossbar, most dash cams have a 180-degree view at least, so they should be able to see the bike coming on the side, and they could see that he hit your car and then try to blame you for fraud, at which point he'll be arrested and or fined, and you can walk away. So 2 reasons to have a dash cam. Very simple. They're not very expensive. They loop each other, they loop their own clips, so you don't even ever have to touch it unless you need to. And most of them just have a little pull-out SD disc that you just put in your laptop or computer. So you really can't go wrong with it. They're super cheap nowadays. But those are just my 2 tips. Just seeing as I was just involved in the incident yesterday, I just wanted to push that out there. I know a lot of people that do that first thing where they just walk away from a crash without reporting anything. So just my 2 cents here. But I'll go ahead and throw up the pictures from the job today and the job yesterday with the pricing afterwards. And until then, I hope everyone is staying safe and everyone's new year is going well business-wise. And hope you guys are staying busy and have things lined up. But I will see you guys probably next week. And thanks for watching.